Listen, there's chaos in the stock and oil markets, and tensions are boiling from Asia to Europe. Adaptation is the key here to safeguarding your wealth. You may not have considered gold before. It's not speculation, but insurance, and right now, we could all use some insurance. Noble Gold Investments have been protecting investors from disaster for years with precious metals. So if you're worried, it might be time to take a fresh look at gold and silver. Gold is a proven safe haven shield for your portfolio and a volatility balance against uncertainty. If it helps, Noble Gold Investments is offering a free 3-ounce silver American Virtue coin with its new IRAs this month. If you open your Noble Gold Investments IRA or 401k rollover, you can claim your coin today. Remember, crisis brews, portfolios waver, gold insulates. Secure yourself against the threats. Go to noblegoldinvestments.com now. noblegoldinvestments.com, the gold company I trust. Hey, Inspire Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers. It's John Nolan here. Thank you so much for tuning in to another Inspire live stream. I was about to say Inspire Conversation. That's coming up on Wednesday, by the way. We're bringing back Frank Jacob for the last conversation of this year. It's going to be a big Q&A. We're going to go through a lot of great subjects and some big eye-openers. I think it's going to be pretty epic. But for today, we're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're free. And I'm excited to be with you and talk about something that I'm deeply, deeply passionate about. And I think it needs to come back to the center of the conversation. Thank you, Ronnie, for being here. Tara, what is real? Marcelo from Argentina. Good to see you all. Again, we're healthy, wealthy, whole, and free. That's the mantra of the Inspired live stream. I see Michael here. Laszlo is here. MC, thank you for being here with us. I want to talk about a forbidden word today. And when I say forbidden word, it's not that it's been outlawed, but the meaning and what it does with people, what it unlocks, has been banned, and that a long time ago for a specific reason. And we're going to talk about all of it and why I think that when we look into a new year, when we look, like I've been saying in the previous live streams, when we look to become the best possible version of ourselves, our best possible self, we absolutely need to deeply understand the meaning of this word. The meaning of this word, and I'm getting to it. I'll share this word with you. We got to build it up so it can really be grasped. The meaning of this word has inspired eons and generations of people, of tribal people and all other peoples of the world. This used to be a word of inspiration that moved so much in the world, that created so much, helped create so much. And today it's been pretty much banned from the conversation. You're not really allowed to, let's say you're bringing new people into your business. You're an employer and you bring people in and you want what this word means from them. That's basically a problem today. So we're going to get into all of it, but I want to go back to where it started becoming a problem and why we're seeing some of the things we're seeing in the world today. So bear with me. We're going to go on a journey. In the public perception, a lot of people still believe, and very erroneously still believe, that we had a upward progression in recent history in terms of human knowledge, understanding, education, all of that, when it was really, and we oftentimes can really see this now clearer and clearer, a downward spiral that not by accident, but by design. What do I mean by that? Our current education system, which was absolutely tailored to the Industrial Revolution of the 20th century and the 19th century. That's where this education system is coming from. It was tailored to create types of people for specific tasks. You needed the worker class, you needed the engineer class, you needed the educator class, you needed the entrepreneur class. In certain nations, that was also created to a certain extent. But what the education system at large has done is really eliminate a lot of great skills, traits, and creative skills in people. It was there to put people in the mold and make sure they stay within that mold. And that was in order to fuel the industrial age and to make that work. Some of the most important things that a human being has and should develop and be allowed to develop were suppressed and are being suppressed. And as a matter of fact, within the last 40 to 50 years, you had, or maybe even longer than that, you had the main focus in education for those who are actually designing the programs, the curriculums, was in dumbing down, really dumbing down, making people as ignorant and stupid as possible, while at the same time introducing more and more technology that that is a substitute for all the abilities that people don't have anymore. And this, of course, is what's the end goal? You have a few different end goals here. Number one is you don't want people too smart so they would question things, right? You don't want them too educated so they would have a broader understanding of things. And you surely don't want them too creative or they would access innate skills that you don't want them to access if you want to bring in a new technological age or a technocratic age. If you want to replace humanity with technology, then you need people stupid and reliant on technology. So that was what the education system, and if you go through the various revolutionary stages and the education change pushes in the 80s, before that in the 60s, and then in the 90s, and then of course now, is exactly what it did. People have, on average, if you stick a microphone into a high school graduate's face, on average, and you ask some basic knowledge questions, or the ability to comprehend, after reading a page, an essay, comprehend what was written and summarize it for you. None of those skills are available in most graduates, and that's the same. The same goes for college. Ask any college graduate, anything about, let's say, your nation's history, some important things. Nothing is there. But that, of course, is on purpose. So now I want to go to the forbidden word and why I think it is so important that we bring it back to the center of the conversation, and why I think that if you bring it back to your life, a lot of things will begin to change. This word and what it means has deeply inspired me for my life. And, it's not that I don't fall short, but that is what I aspire to in everything I do. And so I put together this very, very simple little equation that will help you understand it better, what that word actually means. And I want to start with another word. It'll lead to it, trust me. And that word is competence, okay? The ability to do something really well. And I added this part, and the willingness to improve and continually become better at it. I have noticed that in recent years, when I look at your average business that employs people, for some reason, what is asked of the employees is basically just basic competence. It's knowing what you have to know, but not a little more, right? And so people don't strive to become really, really competent at something much longer, really, really great at something. What that means, to have a lifelong quest to improve your skill or set of skills. That's something that is not encouraged. It's not encouraged. It's actually more encouraged for you to pick up this thing here and really understand what tools you can use, what AI tools you can use, so in order that you don't have to be competent in areas anymore, right? So that's one part of the equation. The second part of the equation is accountability. Okay, so doing what you say you will do and or agree to do. Most and importantly, and firstly, always to yourself. The commitments that you make when you say, and I'm talking about this because we're 11, 12 days from the beginning of a new year. And yes, we all know the inaccuracy of this calendar. Don't get me started on that. And the 12-month system and all that. I know that. But in our perception, we're beginning a new year on January 1st, 2024. For a lot of people, this is the optimal time. There's an energy wave. It's also heightened consciousness in this time. There's no time of the year where the level of consciousness is higher than around Christmas and New Year, just so you know, and when you measure it. So we have this beautiful opportunity. Accountability is one of those things, is when you make a choice and when you say, hey, I will commit to a new path, I am committing to a new path, that you see it through, and first and foremost to yourself. But here's the thing, whenever you break your word, your promise to someone else, you actually break the word to yourself. You actually break that promise to yourself. And so this is very important. That's why I said, don't bite off more than you can chew. Don't promise something that you are not 100% certain you can fulfill, either to yourself or to someone else. So when you make a commitment that you're going to change something in your life, that you're going to become really great at something in your life, that you're going to start improving at something in your life, then please, when you make that commitment, make sure that you stick to it 100%. That is really important. The third part of this equation, and this is what I think for our time is so important, is to have a vision, create and follow a vision and mission that's bigger than you. So if all that your vision entails is an improvement for your own life, that could mean that it's possibly to the detriment of others. I always include for my highest good and the highest good of all. It has to be that way. What we do today needs to include the highest good of all. This has been the success recipe of all indigenous peoples of the world. Why some have, why some were able to keep their cultures, to keep their traditions, to keep their customs, is because they share a vision that is for the highest good of all. And if it isn't, they change it, right? So this is important. So I'm asking you, and here we get to the forbidden word, my friends. If you add up competence and accountability and vision, you know what you get? You get this symmetrical, beautiful word. I only found out it was symmetrical when I put it on that thumbnail. You get this here, my friends, you get excellence. And excellence has been taken out of the public conversation. It's been taken out of education. And this educational system as it stands is horrible, right? It's bad as it is, but what it's come to today, even way worse. But excellence has been absolutely removed from everything. And excellence, if we reverse engineer it one more time, I just want to tell you, it's becoming really great at something and continually improving, to being accountable, meaning you're going to do what you say you're going to do. And 3, to have a vision that's bigger than you and that includes the highest good of all. Boom. Now you have, my friends, now you have excellence. And I love excellence. I love, because when I look at beautiful things that humans have created in the past, whether that is art or whether that is gardens, botanical spaces, where Christine and I got married on an island in Croatia. That was a bare, rocky island that somebody, a botanist, 150 years ago, he purchased that island. It was a small island, and he created this Garden of Eden on it, just absolutely stunning. And it is an example of excellence, of beauty. If you look at some of the old world architecture, where when you stand in front of it, you can't help but be inspired. You're in awe. You're absolutely mesmerized, because everything is in harmony. The geometry, the colors, the shapes, everything. And my friends, excellence is what you get inspired by when other people present themselves in that way to you, when they have followed these steps and when they have committed to these steps and gone, okay, I really, there is no such thing as is it mediocrity? It is mediocrity. I always wonder if it's mediocrity or mediocrity, but you can correct me on that. But you never see that when you look at the indigenous people, and whether they're artists or hunters, or whether they build something, or whether they're cooks, they cook for the community, whatever they do, they're really, really great at it. And I don't even think that being mediocre is a concept for them. That doing something that is so is a concept for them. They take pride in what they do. They love. I don't know that they define it as excellence. I think that's just the standard. That's the MO for them. And so we need to bring this back. And I'm, on all levels, physical, spiritual, creative, psychological. We really need to strive for excellence again. And it's just looking at the world today and looking at the standards that young people often have, and the little pride they have in what they do. And it's not so much necessarily about what you do in the moment, but if you're going to sweep the floor, sweep it beautifully, sweep every corner, make sure that it's really, really done well. Whatever. I think it's a state of being rather than defined by the task that you're doing at hand. And it fills you with pride. It fills you with fulfillment. But most important, excellence becomes a state of being. And that to me is where we are pulling ourselves out of what we're in. And you're not supposed to say that as an employer, for example, like I mentioned earlier, you're not supposed to ask for excellence in your employees. That puts too much pressure on them, and then they get anxiety and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just going, what if we took out the pressure for a moment, and what if we replaced it with inspiration? What if we can inspire in each other, and especially the younger generation coming up, if we can inspire to help pull out the very best of them, aligned with high standards, morals, and values? What if we can come back to that? What if we, instead of allowing our next young generation to become fat and lazy, what if we inspire also physical excellence in them again? That doesn't mean you push and drill. It means that we inspire the joy of movement, the joy of exercise, the joy of play, the joy of game, the joy of all of these things that needs to be a part. If we don't have the striving for physical excellence, this is the temple that we reside in. If that temple becomes sick and unused and not taken care of, how can it serve in the way that it was designed to serve for what we want to do? It cannot. So that's one thing. And you don't start. Excellence is not a beginning or destination point. It's a way of life. You just continually commit to becoming better at something. You continually commit to showing up for something. And you continually commit to applying that something, that skill, or whatever you do, to the highest good of yourself and all. Which means that if you are in great physics, make sure that you, just give me one moment. Give me one moment here. I just want to make sure. Can you hear me still? I hope you can hear me. Let me just make sure that we haven't lost it. Yeah, okay, we should be fine. If we commit to that, if we begin at the beginning of life with our children, if we approach them with the highest intentions, if we bring all that to the table, my friends, we turn this all around, and we have more joy, more love, more beauty, more inspiration in our lives. And I want you to write that word down. For me, that was one of the most inspiring words. My main word, my life word, if you will, is inspired. It's been my life word for so long, and every year I ask myself, what is the word that really inspires me this year? It's still inspired or inspiration. It's still a big word, but excellence is just as much a big word. To become the best possible version, to be the best possible at something that I do, not compared to somebody else, but compared to me yesterday and the day before. And this also means, like I said in my previous live stream, like I said, if you commit to that, at the same time, you commit to saying no to everything else. You commit to saying no to everything that does not resemble excellence. And that is so important, because if you think you can do two things that are in contradiction to each other at the same time, you can't be sad and happy at the same time. You can't be depressed and joyous at the same time. And you can't be average and excellent at the same time. But it is a state of being, and it is a decision. And it also means to finally release yourself from the burden of all excuses. I'm going to repeat this for you. Release yourself from the burden of all and any and all excuses. No excuse in the world empowers you. It only enables you to stay in the state that you're in. And if you are happy with the state that you're in, wonderful. More power to you. That's good. But if you're not quite happy, then any and all excuses enable you to stay in that state and disempower you from changing. And these are black or white kind of things. These are not gray areas. These are not maybe a little bit. These are all yes or no decisions, because there is no maybe. There is no maybe. And I am inspired. See, I love it when I see people that started out great and got better. That's wonderful. I enjoy that. But it's just like anybody else. I'm really inspired by people that for some reason, whether because they put themselves there or simply that's where they found themselves, were in a difficult spot, had a challenge. Everybody loves those stories. Somebody was in a tight spot. Somebody had, health issues or had weight issues or financial, whatever it is. And they made a choice that they were not going to accept that any longer. And they made the choice to transformation. They ultimately made the choice for excellence. And then you see their story, you see their transformation. That inspires us. Because what does it show us? What does it tell us? They can do it. They're not, they're just people like you and me. But if they can do it, well, hell, we can do it too. You can do it too. And this is the time, my friends. This is time. It calls us to do this. There's a whole different reason. As technology becomes so omnipresent, we need to discover our own excellence, because the technology that we're looking at only in a very primitive way mimics a much greater ability that we have within us, an innate ability. That's where inspiration for technology came from. There's a knowledge, whether on the subconscious or the conscious level, that humans are capable of much, 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 much more than they're currently presenting. And that technology is a reminder in some ways, you can look at it that way, what could be possible. And so currently, we're literally, for the masses, we're competing. We're competing to show the masses that the human being, the human spirit, the divine spark trumps technology. That's what we're competing over right now in the perception. Some have already decided it's not that way, and that silicon-based robotic life forms are superior. That's another reason for us to really become excellent on all levels: physical, spiritual, mental. And one more time, competence plus accountability plus vision equals excellence. I love this. And these definitions for excellence, or this definition for excellence, I actually heard years ago by Joe Dispenza. I heard it from him, and I always thought, wow, that's spot on. And it stuck with me. And I always ask myself in everything I do, am I getting better at this? Am I getting too comfortable in the comfort zone? No more improvement. It's not good. Am I actually showing up for what I say I'll do and see it through? And there's another side of this too. If your plate's too full, take the things off that don't matter as much and focus on those that really matter. And then one thing I surely know I never have a problem with is the vision for the highest good of all. That's so in me. So I just want to invite you in this world. I want to invite you in the world of into the world of excellence. That doesn't mean I'm excellent. It just means I'm striving for excellence. I'm aspiring to it. I'm aligning with it. I want to experience more and more of it. And I want to invite you into this world with me. And perhaps you can use excellence as a positive trigger word for 2024. For whatever it is that you want to change in your life, because I know there's something you want to change in your life. You're human. Everybody here watching wants to change something in their life, improve something in their lives. Here's the thing. The person that you've been waiting for, staring right back at you in the mirror, it's the only person who can do it. You can get help. You can get inspiration. You can get knowledge. You can get wisdom. You can get all these things, but you're the only one who can do it. And I'm in your corner. I want you to know this. I want you to know this, that Christine and I are in your corner. The whole reason why we continually show up is because we are in your corner. Because even though we're separated by a screen and by a digital barrier, if you will, it's not really a barrier. We can feel you. We can feel your dreams, your hopes, your wishes, your deepest desires, and we're in your corner. We want you to live them. We really want you. We really, really want you to live them. We want you to become the best possible version of yourself, because we know it's going to be for your highest good and the highest good of all. And we believe in you. We 100% believe in you. We've seen so much beauty. We've seen so much expansion over the last years. And this is only the beginning, my friends. So I invite you to come with me into this world of excellence, and let's see how good it can get. Let's see how good we all can get over these next 12 months. And I love these visuals in terms of time, because that is a tangible timeline. See, for example, if I know my best weight, my optimum weight, I'll just leave it at that. My optimum weight, let's say, is 175 pounds, whatever, right? If I look at the timeline and I go, I want to be my best possible physical version at 175 pounds, and December of 2024, a year from now, that's where we'll take inventory and make sure we got there. That to me is a tangible, visual thing, and it's achievable, right? It's absolutely achievable. And I love these things. It's not so much to look at it every day and just go, oh, that's my big goal, but it's a timeline, and I can move with joy and improvement on that timeline. We're going to talk more about it in the following days, because I think this is the message for me more than anything. We've gathered the knowledge, and we will continue to, don't get me wrong, but we've gathered so much knowledge, information. We understand how the world works and what all of this is so much better than we did 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago. So now let's put it into action. Now let's apply this knowledge and our spiritual expansion into the practical things of life. Let's see how good it can get. Much love, many blessings. We'll be back with you again very, very soon.